It had not been many moons since that one fateful, tormented night, when even the stars in the heavens did not shine down their light upon me, and I lay tortured and agonized in my restless sleep and sleepless rest. My body ached with feverish pain, as though I were beset by the lashing heat of suns that numbered 7 strong. My blood boiled within my marrow, bounding in fitful purges from the chambers of my heart, struggling to make their standard journey from vein and artery along the length of my very being. But as my flesh did wail into that savage night, it was my mind that gave me most grief, beset for hours endlessly by fever dreams as severe and tremendous as swords clashing against stone. I saw in my mind's eyes such frightful images, of beasts that did walk unstoppable across the skies, of giants that rise from the oceans to drink up the land like it were broth. As I cried out in pain, I saw toothed birds snapping like crocodiles upon the river, their feathers like knives, each poised to cut my body in two. I felt the crawl of spiders in regiment, an army of crawling beasts that marched in venomous form across my skin till they reached my gaping, howling mouth. At last I forced myself to wake from this nightmare of murderer's vision, but as my eyes opened, I saw not the inside of my long lonely cabin. Instead I was found floating high above the earth, atop a desert-set scene some ancient hour long passed away into memory. I held my tongue, silent as a moon-bound tomb, but though I were as a mute, the cosmic night itself cried out with 1,000 voices, each voice crying in 1,000 languages each. There was grief and grotesquerie such that I had not felt before, as though this spot were the very birthplace and grave-site of torment itself. I found my wanderer's gaze drawn out over the empty city, and to a hill that lay not too far away from the stone city that waited amidst the sand. As I beheld the hill, I saw beyond it, my eyes now unencumbered by reality's chains, and I saw the true face of that hill, a great and grinning skull, its eyeless gazing burrowing deep into my soul. As I saw this hill that bore a skull's gaze, an old memory returned to me, and I was beholden to the hill of the skull, that which scholar and shepherd alike call Calvary. Drawn ever closer, I saw that the emptied city had made the way in numbers beyond the hundreds to see the spectacle atop this jaw-boned mound. There were 3 wooden crosses held fast into that skull, each one seeming like a jagged, jaundiced tree, clawed and ravenous in its hunger, and held by nails as thick as bones and forged of iron strong were men left withered and bloodied. 2 held no great title, no more than mortals like myself, but in the centre, atop the most wicked and twisted of crosses, was one who was as vibrant as a summer's sky over the oceans. I knew the name of this one who was left here, mocked and tormented, though I could not see his face. Could it be that I had been raised from feverous slumber terror to witness the very slaughter of Christus Oloso himself? I came now down closer to the ground, soaked in blood and misery, passing through the assembled crowd like the breeze gently flowing through the trees. Came at last to Christus Oloso himself. As I tried to reach for him, I saw at last that beneath his feet were great and terrible demons, each one armoured in barbaric metals, of spiked stone and blackened sword. They snapped at the feet of Christus Oloso like cancerous dogs, their spittle-drenched maws as gaping as the very hatred they felt for the man left hanging like meat on a hook. But though I saw their jagged teeth snapping like steel traps, they did not injure Christus Oloso. I again ventured my eye to the man they lashed out at, and saw with eyes of holy understanding that Christus Oloso was not merely held to the tree, but armoured in gallant light, a knight of virtue and righteousness unparalleled amongst the ageless memories that surged through my mind. And again I ventured down at the beasts of hell's wickedness that did bite in savage horror at Christus Oloso, and saw that they snapped their jaws in vain, for their very heads were held under the heel of the golden knight they sought to assault. With a jolt, like the lightning strike, I finally awoke, my cabin bed awash in sweat and bile, my body still quaking from the nightmare I had beheld, and the toxins that my addled body could only hope to purge. I thought of the vividness of my dreams, of the wondrous worrying sights I beheld. Why did my subconscious slumber summon me to the place where the Saviour was slaughtered? And more pressingly, why did I see that he was slaughtered not? Still weakened, my mind felt a sudden ease wash over its twin parts, and as I drifted back to sleep, I felt not the torment of a whirling hurricane of violence and terror that had shattered my psyche, but the feeling that in the end everything would be all right.